Hi, I'm Dr. Reed Newbaum. We're here at Ultimate Health. Just wanted to introduce you to a good friend, Ginger. Ginger Wessel with Energy. Is it Energy Vitality?
It's just energy.
Energy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Energy.
Got it.
Yep.
Well, tell me what you're up to.
Well, hello everybody. So I had worked in the fitness industry at a gym for 12 years as a personal trainer and also as a manager of all the personal trainers. And after COVID hit, we all kind of had to rethink our lives. And so for 12 weeks, I decided that either I wanted to go into life coaching or something that was back to a one-on-one experience with my clients because I kind of missed that. So I did some research into that and did get back into the gym for about 6 weeks, but realized that my passion was now outside of the gym and helping people in their homes and in my home. And I do a lot of online training,
Okay.
a lot of nutrition planning, a lot of everything. I'll go grocery shopping with a client. I'll help them organize their house. Even just to that energy is your whole inner self, your vitality, what you have, and making sure that you're healthy moving forward. So everything that's inner goes outer.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So still in the fitness, nutrition, just kind of
Yes, still personal training, fitness, nutrition.
moved into that one-on-one,
Yes.
at-home, virtual.
Mm-hmm.
Smart move.
Yeah,
With
it's a new world, and
Sure.
people have been more comfortable with that. Now that the gyms are opened up now 100%, I know that gyms are going to get back to their normal place, and I'm very excited about that.
Yeah.
Because I still go to the gym, but just that personal training, that one-on-one experience, it did change because people were very fearful
Absolutely.
of being in the same room with you or being that close or being touched. So
Yeah.
it did change the dynamic.
Yeah. Yeah. And now we've had conversations before, plenty of times about nutrition.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you if you heard of people gaining the COVID-19.
Oh yes, I have the COVID 25 now. I had a recent
What?
client call me with the COVID. She just said the stress and having to deal with all of the factors. Yeah.
Well, it's a lot of things in our lives kind
Yeah.
of flipped upside down. And
Yeah.
one of the reasons why I wanted to have you in and hear your thoughts about nutrition is this is about the time everyone seems to think that it's New Year's, that everyone starts to think about their
Yeah.
nutrition. But
Yeah.
I found, and I don't know what your opinion on this is, it's closer to when it's getting warmer out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's starting to get warmer,
Yes.
and I'm starting to get the questions. So why do you think that was, as far as COVID-19, and when is this normal for people to start getting into
gear? I was surprised that in January things didn't get more busy, but people still felt, we were all still kind of hiding at home in our big and baggy clothes, and we weren't having to put on our jeans that actually, oh my gosh, I can't button them anymore. So we kind of hid from the world, and then we're sitting behind a camera and we're sitting a lot more.
Sure.
So the normal activity, even teachers going back to school, well, we're not walking around to school. So all the walking and all the activity that was being done was no longer being done, and we're sitting in front of a Zoom camera all day long, and
Absolutely.
then stressed because our kids are home and we're also teaching them.
Yep.
And then the stress levels and the cortisol levels during COVID, and not only to mention depression, alcoholism, all of the things that came back for people. So, some people use alcohol, some people use food. So I've heard both, not only gaining the COVID-19 or whatever it was, but I've heard people go in the opposite direction as well, not eating and really going through depression and things like that. So it's really a mental, what can you control? Well, I can control my food maybe in one way or the other. So,
Sure.
And then, DoorDash, you didn't even have to leave your house. So that became very convenient. So food became people's comfort and their way out.
Yeah.
Mentally and emotionally, and if you couldn't go to the gym and couldn't work out and didn't have a way of working out, the activity was gone.
It's a recipe for disaster, for sure. The stress alone is enough to make people gain unwanted weight. Throw in how easy it is to stay home. get takeout, drink a little more.
You're just not paying attention.
Sure, and then throw on not being able to go to the gym, sedentary. Yeah. It's a recipe for disaster.
I mean, I even found it myself, and I don't know about you, but when I did join back to a gym and start working out, it was a wake up. It was like, now I'm more motivated. Okay, I need to get myself together a little bit. I mean, it was like shocking because you'd see people like, I need to, it's a little bit of competition, but that helps.
Yeah.
Helps some people, helps me.
Sure. So let's see, what are some of the biggest mistakes that people make particularly when they're getting back into trying to eat healthy? Why is it so hard?
It is hard. It is hard. I think the first thing is people want it to happen too fast.
Okay.
And so, eating healthy, so I've been eating very unhealthy for whatever period of time, a couple months. Well, now I'm going to switch and eat healthy. And so they try to change everything at the same time. Okay. So to try to change a habit that you've created, it took you a while to create that habit. So now it's going to take you a while to uncreate the habit. Everybody talks about those 21 days. If you could stick with something 21 days, that actually creates a habit. That is a misconception. They've done a lot of studies on brain chemistry and psychology, and it is actually the minimum is 66 days.
I was going to say, if you say 66 days, we've read the same things.
Yes.
It's such an interesting. I've heard as low as 10 days. It's like, just eat this way for 10 days, or 21 days. That's a nice round number. 3 weeks, great. Now it's a habit. But truthfully, it's how you define a habit. I think how they're defining it is like something that you do without 90% effort or something. You still have to put that 10% effort.
You still have to do it.
You can't do nothing.
Right.
But it's mostly you don't have to think about it, and then it's a habit, and that doesn't happen in 21 days.
It doesn't. You
can get a lot of results in 21 days. Yeah. But it's not a habit.
It's not a habit. It doesn't create automaticity. Which every night you go to bed, you brush your teeth, or you should. And so that is something you do. You go upstairs or go wherever you're at in your restroom and you brush your teeth and you floss and you go to bed. That's my habit, right? I don't think about that. I don't go to bed. If I went to bed without brushing my teeth, I would feel weird, right? So it's
off.
Something's not right, and that is creating a habit that will stick with you. So when I start with my clients, I look at the life. What is your lifestyle? What was it? What do you want it to look like? And let's take 3 things and change them. And it might be, let's be active 2 times to 3 times a week, or let's drink water and let's take a vitamin. Let's come to some place where we're actually doing something regularly. I get clients that say, well, I want to start working out 5 to 6 days a week. And I'm like, well, what have you been doing? And they'll say, oh, I haven't done anything. And I'm like, well, you're not going to be successful at 5 to 6 days a week. You won't. You'll do it for 2 weeks and then it's done because it's going to be too much stress. Let's do 2 to 3 days. Okay. So it's the same thing with food. What do we need to change for breakfast? Well, now I'm drinking, a coffee that has 300 calories in it. Well, let's do a coffee with 150 calories in it.
Yeah.
And it's that simple. Making those changes. So I
That's
go through a lifestyle. It's half the amount of calories. If you reduce 500 calories out of your day, if you do that for 7 days, that's a pound a week. So finding those small changes is the first step. And then the second step is letting people know that it takes a long time.
Sure.
Now, you can lose weight fast. There's different theories. Some people hold to the fact of, drop it fast, get it off, and then. I don't disagree with that for some people. But then long term, what does that look like? So you got to weigh the cost benefit.
I'm a wrestler. Well, former wrestler, I guess. Well, once you're a wrestler, you're never
not a wrestler.
Done. Yeah, but I hear this all the time with the speed. I mean, shoot, look in the grocery store next time you're at the magazines. It's like, lose 28 pounds in 2 weeks. The easy way.
Start.
And it's it never. But a lot of people they see that. I mean, that's a very common thing.
Or we're desperate.
Yeah, and I can't agree with you more that it's small changes that add up to these big results. Especially as a starting point. like you said, the habit is what you're really going after.
Right. That's what you're trying to change.
And I can't stress this enough. Love the fact that you're bringing up. Let's line up success. Let's choose something that you're going to be successful on. That's going to be motivating. Because I love big goals. Let's make it
doable.
A journey. You're just going to jump on top of that mountain. You're going to step by step.
Yeah.
So that's a huge piece. Now, there's I'd like to answer first, but are you a bigger fan of adding small things or removing things? Because I'm a bigger fan. I've seen better results for some people by removing certain things, and it's not enough necessarily to say, oh, let's eat like less of these certain things. It's what's a lot easier, in my opinion, for the majority of people. So everyone's a little bit different, but it's a have an absolutely not list, and for a lot of people that's liquid calories. It's either an absolutely not or a significantly less, or like a one a day kind of a thing, or like you brought up coffee. I'm like, well, can you go black?
Just make it black.
I'm a big fan of black coffee, so I've never understood the whole creamer and like, that's an easy thing for me. It's like, it's no calories. If you drink it black, and if you put all of it in there,
if
you're having a cup of milk.
Wonder, did you realize I had the 150 calorie coffee every morning? Yeah. So removing or adding. I mean, say during COVID, you have said, okay, every evening before bed, we're going to have a bowl of ice cream or a bowl of cereal or whatever that looks like, for somebody. A lot of times, if that habit is so ingrained, I'll say, okay, let's take what you're eating and change it. Let's make it something that's you still like, okay, I have something to look forward to, but it's healthy and it's half or if not completely gone with the calories.
I guess there was a third option there.
Replace with some things.
Well, I mean, that's adding and removing is replace. So
so that helps with some people because the fear of not. But then other people, like just recently, recently in the last 165 days I haven't had any sugar or flour. And that means no processed foods. It's a big leap.
That's a big absolutely not
big
list.
Leap, and it was an absolutely not list. Now, as far as flour is concerned, I'm not as 100% with that one.
Okay.
But sugar, huge change, because sugar is the one thing in your body that causes disease. It just doesn't do well. So if we can remove sugar, if you say that to a client, well, we're going to remove sugar. Well, what does that look like?
What's left?
And there's a lot,
but
it is overwhelming in the beginning. So, but I believe like if somebody is truly having an addiction to something, an addiction to a food or an addiction to a behavior, to completely remove that is the only way to stop it.
Yeah.
Because you have to take it out. And if it means, well, instead of doing this, I'm going to go for a walk, or instead of doing this, I'm going to call a friend. That might be what happens.
Sure.
Depending on where people are at.
Yeah. Very hard. How about myths?
Myths. Oh, there's so many.
No, one of my friends. What is it? Carbs are sugar is a quick burning carbohydrate that your brain needs for fuel, and it should be avoided at all costs. It's so confusing.
It's so confusing. I think the biggest thing for me working with people is that I just had a client yesterday on the phone, and we met for the first time talking about nutrition, and the client had tried so many things and spent a lot of money on different things. And not one program works for everybody. And so we read these magazines and we think, okay, if I don't eat any carbohydrates, well, where's your fruit and vegetables? Because those are carbohydrates that your body actually needs all those micronutrients and macronutrients out of.
Yeah.
So what are you eating then? You're eating steak? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I eat meat, so it's like, where do you go from there? So, no carb diet. Okay, well, that'll work for a period of time, but it will put you in ketosis. So what are you going to do after that?
Yep.
And I think that's where it is. You find what works for people. What are they doing now? What can we change? What can we move towards? And then we actually figure things out for them individually. But it'll happen fast. We talk a lot about the macro diets, and people want me to write them a macronutrient diet, which is very easy to do. You pick up, I won't get complicated about it, but it's not a hard fix, right?
Yeah.
So, but I know that a lot of online folks go with, well, let me give you your grams of protein, carbs, and fat.
Yeah.
Well, if you add up calorically what that is, typically you're not even eating 900 to 1,000 calories. Well, you're going to lose weight.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not going to stay off.
Yeah.
So that is a huge myth out there. Well, let's really figure this out. Because when I work with people, I really want them to know why they're eating what they're eating and what it's going to do for them.
Right. Yeah.
So there's too much out there. That's the problem.
I think so too. The macro diets, you're referring to low carb, low fat, high protein, protein only.
Yeah, it's what people like. So you fix your protein based on the person's weight, metabolism, or not metabolism, calories. Yeah, it's a calculation, and then you fix the protein. If a person is a mesomorph, they might get more fat than carbs. If
I've seen these charts on
and
ads.
And you basically take that math formula and you say, here, I can apply this to you.
Yeah.
And it does work, but if you're not feeding people enough, if you're not saying, well, how many calories are you really taking in?
Yeah.
Because if you're taking in 4,000 calories a day, well, if you're a teenager, then great. If you're a male teenager and you're working out, you'll need 4,000 calories a day. But if you're the same female, 40 years old, you're not gonna, right? So you have to dial things in for people.
Yeah. In that same note, keto, like those are other just, you're manipulating the macronutrients.
You're manipulating macros.
But really, so I'm willing to bet you, are you based on what you're saying, are you a calories in, calories out?
Yes.
Or good calories, bad calories?
I'm a calories in, calories out.
Okay.
But this is how I like to explain it to people to make it make sense. So, first of all, macronutrients, the simple part of that is that's protein, carbs, and fat. That's your major nutrient source, and that's your major calorie source. Alcohol is not enlisted in that, but alcohol adds a lot of calories, right? So carbohydrate calories, and then your body stops metabolizing food. Either way, so calories in, calories out is my basic method. However, I can eat a bag of Doritos, and a bag of Doritos is 1,500 calories, and that might be all the calories I need during the day. And I could eat that bag of Doritos every day, and I would lose weight. Yeah. Because that puts me in a deficit.
Yep.
And I'm going to feel like crap. My skin's going to look terrible. I'm not going to build any muscle. Yep. But it's still calories in, calories out.
Might be nice for a little while.
I've done it probably. There's probably been a day I've done that. But then if I look at somebody and they are concerned about their nutrients and they want to stay healthy, then we look at and you can eat a whole lot more of nutritious food than you can a bag of Doritos. 1,500 calories of nutritious food is a lot of food.
A ton. A ton.
So it's just explaining. I mean, if you buy a Ferrari, you're not gonna put cheap gas in it.
Yep. Yep.
It won't run right.
Yep.
It'll run.
Yep.
It's not gonna be smooth.
Absolutely.
So that's how I explain it. But if somebody wants a glass of wine every night, well, guess what? 200 calories. We'll put that in your caloric intake, and then enjoy it every night.
Yep. No, I'm the same way. It's really backtracking from one, where your goals are. Backtracking into let's make sure whatever we're tracking matches up with those goals.
Yeah.
Because I find a lot of people, I don't want to go too far on a tangent, but a lot of people equate weight with body composition, and I'm a much bigger fan of tracking body composition, body fat percentage.
Yes.
And if your goal is to lose weight and you're tracking, or if your goal is to lose weight and you're tracking, or let's switch that. If your goal is to lose fat and you're tracking weight,
it's not gonna.
I always throw out there, what if you gained 10 pounds of muscle and lost 10 pounds of fat? Would you be happy or sad?
Oh.
Extremely happy.
You look beautiful.
You know you'd weigh the same.
Yeah.
If that was the case. So
Yeah.
that's usually that's one of those mental blocks that some people have. It's like
Yeah.
let's whatever gets measured gets managed,
Yeah.
and you got to be measuring the right thing.
Right.
But then you take that and then manipulate your calories through macros in a way that works for you.
Right.
So, agree, disagree, similar approach. That's how I've approached it.
That's it.
Yeah.
That is the method, and that's why there is no quick fix to anything.
Yeah.
Because it takes time.
Yeah.
So I train bodybuilders. I am one, and I've competed before on stage, and that's when the manipulation of your macros really makes a difference.
Oh my gosh,
because you will take the same. I mean, I actually have on my Facebook, my Energy Facebook page, a picture of me in my first competition and a picture of me 6 years later in my last competition, and it's the same weight on stage, and I look like a whole different human being. And it's more muscle based, and just how your body trains over time. Well, that's 6 years. I mean, 6 years of building muscle, 6 years of being pretty much 80-20 on a good diet.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
It is.
So, but what you're going back to is figuring out what you want to be, what your goal is. You know, if your goal is just to lose 10 pounds, which sometimes the last 10 pounds is the hardest 10 pounds to lose, we might need to get pretty strict, and we might need to dial some things down. If you need to lose 80 pounds, well, that's when we can start making really small changes, and it makes a huge difference.
Huge.
So, and then I do have people that might need to lose that 50 to 80 pounds. They're used to eating healthier, but might, to drop weight after that is very difficult.
Yeah.
And so you have to manipulate other things, and that's when you really need to bring up the activity level. Yeah. Because the food is kind of dialed in, except for maybe those occasional really bad binges or whatever that looks like. And then, well, how do I go from there? So it's really a challenge, and especially as women age. And men aren't as bad as women, so they have a little bit luckier. They get a little bit easier with that muscle mass. Yeah. Yeah. But that's just because you have more lean muscle mass. So muscle burns calories. Yep. And then you get women who do nothing but cardio and they don't build the muscle. Well, you need to build muscle.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It is. Well, one of my things that anyone watching I want to say is that it sounds complicated: macros, calories, how much body composition, all these kinds of things. It doesn't have to be so hard, especially with people like
that
you that do this for a living. So, how would someone get started if they're looking to improve their nutrition or whatever their goal may be? They get in touch with you. What is that?
What does that look like? Well, you can get in touch with me. I don't have I have a Facebook page, which is Energy, but I also don't have a actually web page yet.
Okay.
Haven't gotten that far, but we can put my contact information on here. You can text me, email me. I get a lot of people that are coming to me from friends that are doing well and being successful that like, oh, you know what you're doing. We need help. Our friend needs help. We have a wedding. We have all this. So that's where I get a lot of my clients from.
Sure.
But just text me or reach out, email me.
Great. Yeah, no, I'll be sure to put the links and everything in here. But thank you so much.
Yeah.
No, I love having these conversations with you.
Well, it's good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thanks.
Cool.